I'm Darielle Snipes with the CMSD News Bureau, and I am here with Executive Chef Tim Wright with the CMSD School Nutrition Department, and he is going to talk to us about some exciting things on the menu for kids this year. Hi, Chef.
Hey, it's nice to meet you. Thanks for coming down to our kitchen.
Anytime. So you guys are doing amazing things here in the School Nutrition Department, and you have some exciting new items on the menu for kids this year. And one of them is dumplings. Can you talk about how dumplings got on the menu?
Sure. Like you said, one of the new exciting items that we have is an Asian-style chicken and vegetable dumpling in a whole wheat, whole grain wonton wrapper. You know, a little too technical, but
no, but the whole wheat, that makes it healthier, right?
Right. And it's something that we have to introduce to all the meals to make sure the students are eating a balanced diet. One of those things is whole grains we have to make sure is included in every item that we serve.
And so talk to me about the process, because it's not something you just throw on the menu and say, here, eat this. The kids actually have a say in what goes on the menu, correct?
That's right, and there's a lot of care taken. Vendors approach us all the time with new items that they'd like to introduce us to that they may be using in other districts. And things that are popular, they make sure we see them because we're such a large district. So once they go through the procurement process and they make an appointment and they see our procurement manager, and then we have a team that sits and look at all the new items, and then we select one. So we selected the Asian dumplings. We wanted to try something new. So after we sample them and make sure it's something that we can replicate in our kitchens with the different sets of equipment and things that different schools have. So then we do a taste testing with area supervisors, managers, and people that work in our department. And then after they get the green light, then we go to a student testing, and we'll test a grade school on the east side, a grade school on the west side, a high school on the east side, a high school on the west side. And we try to hit all those different little pockets of neighborhoods to make sure there's a balance of tastes that are being recognized by what the students like.
So let's be honest, kids, their taste buds, a little bit different than adults, and they can be a little bit picky. So how did the dumplings go over?
They went over well, and this is something that we're doing different for high school, because high schoolers are very in the know about what they want to eat now. And also, they don't want to eat like they did when they were in grade school. They want to say, I don't eat in grade school anymore. So this is something more upscale we're trying to do for the high schools to make it different for them.
Okay, well, and this is something that can be duplicated at home. So show us how we can make this at home, because, you know, my daughter does love dumplings, and I try to make them at home. I don't know if I'm successful at it. So show me, please.
So there's a lot of ready-made products in the supermarket now that you can find. So this one is like I said, chicken and vegetable. And it's a pre-made dumpling, and we cook them from frozen for this recipe. And I have two methods that we can show today. One is using a bamboo steamer that you would set on top of a pot of boiling water. And this is something like you'd see in one of the Asian dim sum restaurants. So we'll line up the dumplings in there, and then we'll steam them in there. And the idea with the steam, they cook a lot more quickly than they do if you put them in the oven or in a skillet, because the steam surrounds the product and it cooks more quickly.
So not a lot of people might have this. So how much does something like this cost if someone wants to get this at their house?
I think when I bought this was like 10 to 15 bucks.
That's cheap.
Down in Asia Plaza, those little markets that they have, you can find a bamboo steamer. And I use it for other things too, not just dumplings, but also vegetables or steaming fish and things like that.
And if someone doesn't have it, how can they do the dumplings without one?
So that's the second way that I'm going to show you. In a skillet, we'll spray it with some pan spray. Well, let's just go ahead and get started.
Let's get started. You got it.
So I use a little bit of pan spray to keep them from sticking after we line them up in the skillet.
Okay.
So for this recipe, I'm just going to do 6 dumplings in each.
And so when you do taste testing with the students, what is the percentage you're looking for in order for it to get on a menu?
Probably like 60% pass ratio, you know, depending on the different student populations. And some things would be more popular for younger students, and some things might be popular for, you know, the older students. And it's usually just a thumbs up or a thumbs down as the students are leaving the cafeteria after they eat, and ooh, I hated that, or it tastes terrible, or yeah, I really like that, I want to try it again.
So no critiquing. I need a little bit more salt. You're not doing
right.
that.
No. But what we do ask, like when we featured this, we were at a school, at the different schools that we featured it, when we first kicked it off, we asked them how they liked it and the schools that they liked it. And then we have a board up and we ask them other Asian things that they like, lo mein, fried rice, things like that. So the next 2 things I'm going to sample recipes for would be lo mein and also a fried rice, because those 2 things were most popular from what the students would
So
want.
once you put it in there.
So then I'll put the lid on, and then over a pot of boiling water, and this is going to take about 8 minutes.
Okay, that's fast.
So we'll check that recipe, or check that when it's cooking. And actually, this is also called pot sticker. You may have known it by before also. So let me just get a little water. I'm sorry, Dario.
No, you're fine. Let me move
My
out your
back
way.
to the camera, I apologize.
No, you're fine. Oh, so that's a quick way to steam it as well.
Yeah, so I'll just put a little bit of water on there, and then I'll put the lid on. So they're known as pot stickers because once the water cooks off in them, after it's steamed, the water will cook away, and it'll form a nice brown crust on the bottom, and sometimes they'll stick to the pan. That's why they're called pot stickers. But the flavor's in the brown, so once that gets nice and caramelized on the bottom, it tastes really good.
Now, aren't they also called dumplings as well?
Dumplings, pot stickers, yep. Generally speaking, if they're deep fried or fried in a skillet, they would be pot stickers, and steamed like this, it would be more considered a dumpling.
But they're both delicious.
Yes.
The nutrition department has been amazing through the pandemic. I mean, you guys were on the front lines, never stopped serving children and families throughout the pandemic. I mean, when you were told that the schools were shutting down, you pivoted immediately to make sure that kids were fed.
That's right. Our managers, area supervisors, the people that I work on a daily basis with were on the front lines of this pandemic from the beginning. We served hundreds of thousands of meals to needy families in our neighborhood and the surrounding area that we took care of throughout the pandemic. And these ladies and gentlemen were troopers throughout it all. Kept their head up and kept going to work and feeding their kids, is what they call them, their kids. They take ownership over the students that they feed on a daily basis. You can feel the love that they give to the students that they feed.
And because of funding that CMSD received from the federal government, it wasn't just our kids, it was any child under 18 that needed a meal could come to a school and get a meal.
Right, and we kept sites open that were, maybe not as popular, or they're off the beaten path, because we didn't want to turn anyone away. So in pockets of neighborhoods where it may be considered a food desert, the school is the only place that someone could come to get a meal. So that was really important for us.
It was, and you guys did a great job.
Yeah, it means a lot that we were able to do that.
And so even though you had the meal sites at the schools, I mean, you guys did so much more with fresh produce to make sure that people were fed during this time.
Yeah, we did a lot more on a broader scale with dairy boxes, fresh fruits and vegetable boxes. Michelle Obama's program with Pass to Love, I did a little thing for them on one of the cooking shows locally. But yeah, we were constantly busy and giving out tons of food, not just what we fed the students and families from our kitchens, but it was also out in the community where we're giving away boxes of food as well.
So, I mean, now that the kids are back in school full time, you guys have pivoted back to pre-pandemic almost with the food, in terms of food, correct? Food
That's right.
Distribution.
That's right. And it's a lot less cumbersome for us to be able to feed the students this way, rather than trying to force a fit to make sure that things were ready for people to take home and knew how to cook them and make them at their house. It's easier for us to have the students come through like we're used to feeding them on a daily basis, and to provide the nourishment that they need in that way.
And how many new things would you say you have on the menu this year for students?
Pre-pandemic, we went through the testing process like I had talked to you about, and we had a hot honey sloppy joe. That hot honey is a popular flavor right now, like sriracha and things like that people are really into. Macaroni and cheese, we actually sampled a macaroni and cheese. Nashville hot nugget.
Nice.
So all these things the students had approved pre-pandemic, so they were all queued up to start, and then wham, the pandemic came and it shut everything down, so we had everything ready to go. So we had all those things ready and lined up to go when we reopen now. So
this is not the food that I ate when I went to school. I mean, I had hamburgers, cheeseburgers, hot dogs, and a chicken sandwich. That was pretty much it. I mean, why is it so important for CMSD Nutrition Department to have these restaurant level meals for our students? I mean, I'm not mad at it. I think it's great, but this is really cool.
Well, one thing is we like to stay on trend with what we serve to the students that we provide for. So when I was young and up and coming, people didn't see things like they do now. Some of these fast casual restaurants, you customize it yourself. I want this sauce, I don't want that thing, I want some of those. So we're trying to get to a point where we're able to replicate some of those items in our kitchens to be able to provide for the students what they want, because that's what they want. They want new and tasty things like that. So.
And they're healthy. I hear something sizzling, so let's check it out.
Yeah, we're getting to the pot sticker part. And see how they're starting to develop a little bit of brown on the bottom there.
Yeah. Looking
So
good.
add just a little
more water.
We don't want too much brown.
No. So
we'll
how do
let
you know
that
when
go
they're
just
done?
a little bit longer. For this recipe, this particularly needs to be cooked to 165 degrees of an internal temperature. So I'll use my probe thermometer to check the internal temperature to that to be sure that it's cooked correctly.
And so what if you don't have one at home? How can you tell?
If you don't have one, I recommend you get one.
Okay.
Because there's no other way to make sure, especially for chicken, it's a potentially hazardous food, and if it's not cooked to the correct temperature, it can make people sick.
Of course.
So get a probe thermometer, preferably digital. It's easier to read, and it's more precise.
Okay. And then let's see how these are doing.
So these are doing pretty good. So we'll check these once it's gone for about 8 minutes. I haven't checked my watch in a minute, so we'll have to check and see.
Not a problem. I mean, I think it's great. 8 minutes. I mean, it can be on the plate within 10. I mean, I know kids get home and they're starving. So this is something,
Right.
instead of going for the chips, they can go for this in 10 minutes.
Right, we'll take care of that for them, no doubt.
So chef, you know, a lot of people when they have dumplings or any type of Asian food, it's accompanied with some type of sauce, usually soy sauce. But you and the staff have been very conscientious about sodium count, because soy sauce has a lot of sodium. So what are the alternatives to soy sauce?
So when you're at the market, you can look at the different sauces. A lot of them do have a lot of inherent sodium in them because of the way that they're made. So pick the one that's most suitable for you and your diet. For the students that we serve, we are regulated to make sure that we only use, so many milligrams of sodium per student per day. So we reached out to a manufacturer that makes a lower sodium orange sauce that we're in the process of testing now. Because another thing that students said that they wanted was orange chicken.
Oh.
So I'm going to take a play off of that and use this orange sauce. And if it's successful as a dumpling dip, then we can also use it to do a chicken dish, so we can cross-utilize that same ingredient for 2 different recipes.
Great, but you also have this ginger sriracha. Is that something
That's something I brought special for you because I knew you liked sriracha. So.
Well, I'm going to try it because I like sauce. A couple of my friends call me saucy because I like sauce on everything, so I will try it.
I can see you being saucy for sure.
But yeah.
So again, in the aisle, like I was in the grocery this morning, and they have a bunch of different sauces available. So pick one that suits you best for what your diet may be for sodium or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And this one's a little spicy. I don't know if kids will like that. It's too spicy. Well,
Yeah,
the younger ones might not like it.
Yeah.
But
So,
it is delicious.
Yeah, we'll let them try and then let them tell us. And if this isn't a popular dish, it won't last. So we'll replace this with something else. We always want to be innovative and new and bringing things that the students want. If they don't want it, I don't want it.
That's right.
So.
Well, that's great. Well, you are doing a great job, and thank you so much for giving us these tips to how to make dumplings at home.
Sure thing. Thank you.
Or pot stickers, whichever one you want to call them.
Tomato.